you ready for a phenomenal secret that I'm going to share with you for you to produce more sales, increase your cash flow, increase your value, grow your business? Stay tuned because I'm going to share something with you. There's three parts to this, or three steps to this, on how you're going to be able to influence people to take action and for you to produce more sales. And there's nothing wrong with influence because we're all influenced by something or someone. That's just the way it is. You just got to accept it and know not to be influenced by the wrong thing. All right, guys? So, anyway, welcome to the Paul Cruz Sales Agency. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. And so, what I'm going to share with you is something that I use for a long time, and all top successful business people, entrepreneurs, salespeople, when they understand this, they know how to use it, and hopefully people use it for the right reasons. Not everyone does, but that's just a part of life. This is one very important tool that we could use and that we do use, whether we realize it or not, to influence people every single day. I'm always about fundamentals. And those of you who follow me and watch my videos, you know that for me it's always about fundamentals, basics, uh, techniques, understanding what you're doing, and more importantly, preparing and training the right way. Okay? Now, these three steps, there's no ways around it. This is how we're influenced every single day by either one of these three steps or all three of these steps. Matter of fact, most of us get influenced by all three of these. It's just human nature. It's just the way it is right now. Okay? And it's the way the human mind thinks and the way it acts, because before someone takes action, they have to be influenced by something, and then that something puts a thought in their mind, which allows them to take the action, right? Because, as I said many times, your actions are tied to your thoughts, right? So, the number one thing, and this is no specific order, but there's just three important steps. One of the steps that you're influenced and that you can influence prospects, you can influence people to take action, you can influence people to make decisions for you to produce the end result, whatever that end result is. Typically, if it's a business, it's about generating new sales, right? That's the way it is. That's the bloodline to our business. So the number one thing, in my opinion, is your attitude. Your attitude is contagious whether you realize it or not. It could be influenced for a good purpose or the wrong purpose, right? Because our attitude is contagious. The question is your attitude, is my attitude worth catching? I preach that every day to my people. I preach that to my clients. I preach it to the prospect. I always show the right attitude, no matter what. No matter if this a sale that I thought I had goes away or doesn't happen and I thought it was going to happen, my attitude doesn't change. My attitude stays the same because I know that that person may one day be my customer. But I have to set the tone now with my right attitude because that's what they're going to remember. So how is your attitude every day? Is it positive? Is it negative? And where does your attitude come from? It comes from your mindset, how you think, how you take in information and digest that information, which I call GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If you take in the wrong information, you have the wrong mindset, you take in the wrong thing, you're going to have a bad attitude. There's no ways around that. It's cause and effects. The mindset is the cause. the effect is the attitude, right? It's just simple. So, number one, how to influence people, influence sales, influence prospects, influence family members and friends. The number one thing, in my opinion, is our attitude, your attitude, my attitude. Because that's the only thing we control and how we utilize our time, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so now number two, to influence people, influence sales, influence things in your life. See, I don't believe in the word law of attraction. I believe in the law of action. You got to take action. But step number two is what you do influences people. Your actions influence people. Because first it starts with the thought, then that thought is the attitude. How do you feel about it? Do you feel positive? Do you feel strong about it? Do you feel terrible about it? Then the action will follow. Are you taking the right action to influence people? What you do influence people. So for example, if you're running a business and you got people working for you, with you, do you have the right environment by your actions that want people to be there, that want people to be part of what you're doing? What you do when things go bad in your business and problems come up, people are watching. They're going to see what you do, how you handle it, what your attitude is going to be. Your actions speak louder than words. It sounds cliche, but it's true. How do you think kids that are born and when they start to walk, they see people walk? So they get influenced by what you do and what you say and your attitude. So number two is what you do and how you do it. Your actions, you see, because when things are going well, it's easy to get along, right? And what happens with that is you can let things slide and put it under the carpet, but that little thing could become a big problem. So your actions, what you do, how you do it, is going to influence people. It's going to influence prospects to take action so that you can produce more sales, so that you can increase your cash flow and multiply your annual revenue and produce higher profit margin. But more importantly, you increase your value not only of yourself, but the people around you. So ask yourself, how are your actions with what you do? Is it contagious for the better or is it for the worse? Let me give you an example. You could have 10 people working for you. You have one bad apple. And unfortunately, if that bad apple is not get rid of, it could infiltrate the other 9 and create a really bad environment. But I tell you this, when you get rid of that one bad apple, your business can grow an extra 10, 15%. So that's what I mean. What you do as a entrepreneur and a business owner and a salesman or a salesperson, you set the tone. People are watching, people are listening, whether you realize that or not. Does that make sense? So, number two, what you do, your actions have influence on people's decision, on people's action, and people's motivation towards you and what you do. Does that Does that make sense? Now, number three, this is how you influence people too. For me, most of my business is over the telephone. So What I say and what you say and how you say it will influence people. There's no ways around it. You have musicians, right? You have podcast people that are speaking. You're listening to what they're saying, and how they're saying it is going to influence you one way or another. It's going to get you engaged one way or another, right? And words are powerful, and words can hurt. Words can destroy. What you say can be motivation. What you say can be inspiration, can be encouraging, can be positive, and then how you say it can influence people that they never would have saw it that way. But these are basics because whether you like it or not, what we listen to is going to affect what we think. What people do and their actions is going to influence what we do and what we say. And people's attitude, your attitude, my attitude, is going to influence people's actions one way or another. There's no ways around that. And you have to understand these three things because this is part of the top way people do advertising and marketing. That's how they influence people. And not always for the right reasons. Look at politicians, how they influence the mass, how they keep people ignorant. They influence by their attitude, their actions, what they say, how they say it. And it's not always good, but it's a fact. So we all get influenced in one form or another. We're all being influenced every single day. You do what you do because something has influenced you to do it. Right? And hopefully you understand that what you say, how you say it, you keep aware of what you say and how you say things. That you're conscious of how your attitude is towards others and what you do and the actions you take every single day is something to think about. Because we go on our day, things happen, and sometimes we don't take time to think and examine ourselves and examine why certain things are not going well. What's going on? Because we're so in a rush to do so many things because we're not disciplined about certain things. So this is how I sell. I understand that my attitude, number one, has to be right, no matter what. I also know that my actions and what I do with the prospects or with people I'm negotiating with, they will notice that. And more importantly, for me, being on the phone 95% of my time, I know what I say and how I say it is going to be a huge influence, whether I produce a sale or not, whether I start to have a new relationship or not, because relationships are built on influence. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So, anyway, that's what I want to share with you. So, if you understand your attitude is contagious, if you understand that your attitude influences people, and you make a conscious effort to always have a positive, strong attitude, then number two, what you do and the actions you take are going to complement and going to be coincide with your attitude. And then number three, what you say and how you say things is going to come out because your attitude is right and your actions are right. Does that make sense? Because you can't be, thinking a wrong thing and then having a positive attitude. You can't, it just doesn't work that way. You can't have a positive attitude and take a bad action. It doesn't work that way. Or you say it wrong, right? Because when you're excited and you got a positive attitude and things like that, words are going to come out more stronger. It's going to have more influence. People are going to feel it. They're going to know it. They're going to want to be part of it. Does that make sense? So just think about that, guys. Number one is your attitude has a huge influence on people, good, bad, or different. Number two, what you do and the actions you take on that attitude, it cannot be ignored. They will see it. And then number three, what you say, how you say things is going to influence people one way or the other. That's just the way it is. Does that make sense? So this is what I use every day. This is how I live my life. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for sharing your time and being part of the Paul Cruz Sales Agency, where sales do happen. So if you want to know